Hello. We're looking at Kevin Can F Himself, Season 1, Episode 8. This is the season finale for this first season. The show is supposedly set in Worcester, Massachusetts, but nothing is even remotely filmed in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I am doing these reviews from the point of view of someone in Worcester who is looking for all of the references and commentary and other notes that have to do with Worcester. For example, the Worcester hockey shirt that Neil is wearing right now. So the reveal of this episode is that Kevin, who we thought had been shot and maybe even killed in the previous episode, actually is fine and alive. And he's still wearing his New England versus everyone shirt that he was wearing before. Turns out that he shot the intruder's in the hospital, and they are fine, which causes, of course, all sorts of problems for Allison and Patty. So here Allison and Patty are breaking into Nick's house because they want to plant some oxy there to be able to throw the police off the scent that they were involved in any way in this attack. And while they're in there, I get some shots of the maps that Nick has put up on his walls. And I love maps in general, and it's nice that these maps happen to be of Boston. You can see the classic swoop of the river around Boston, and here's a close-up of an actual map of Boston, so you can see how the river comes up and around Faneuil Hall area and so on. So I like that they had Nick interested in maps, and maybe he's laying out crime scenes that he's going to attack, or maybe he likes to fish. But in any case, it was a nice touch to be added to the scene. In this scene, Kevin has decided that he's going to run for Worcester City Council, which does exist. And he's wearing a Woo City Sports t-shirt, which says Massachusetts underneath it. And Woo City is a nickname for Worcester, so I thought this was really cool, and I went out and did a bunch of Googling. And as far as I can tell, there was never anything called Woo City Sports. I thought maybe it'd be like a small time sports shop, or maybe like some sort of a sports league in the area. But despite all of my Googling and chatting around, I can't find a record of it. So I suppose there's a chance that this exists, but I'm starting to feel cynical about that, and that perhaps it does not exist because of the shirt that Neil is wearing in this exact same scene. Here's Neil at the table, and he's wearing the Worcester hockey shirt that in previous episodes I was so thrilled by because the way that the overhang happened with his outerwear, it looked like it was an Ice Cats design, the exact same colors, same shape, and everything else. But unfortunately, in this final episode, we're able to see that it's a rhino. It is not an ice cat. It has the exact same back shape, the colors, and everything else, and even sort of the facial expression as the famous Ice Cats team. But it's a rhino on the front of it, and I did all sorts of searching. I cannot find any Worcester team that has ever been called the Worcester Rhinos or that had this kind of a logo. So after all of my joy in previous episodes that they were so cool finding the Ice Cats, and that Neil used to play hockey in high school and he would have loved the Ice Cats and all that other kind of stuff, it was a letdown to find that this seems to be a fake shirt. And I suppose I could still be wrong, and there really could have been a Worcester Rhinos junior league team or something like that going on. But you would have thought I'd find some reference to it somewhere. Kevin gets a call that the Moose Lodge in Worcester is no longer going to host him for some reason. And the local Moose Lodge for the Worcester area is out in the Marlborough area, and that's a good 20 minutes away. But I can see why they wouldn't want to have an actual Moose Lodge involved in this storyline, for all sorts of reasons. So it's all right that they made up a Moose Lodge that was local. I mean, they could have just said a restaurant or something and not even implicated the moose. So Kevin ends up having his campaign meet and greet at Sam's Diner instead. And we got some additional views of the inside of the diner and some looks at the windows and everything else. And I did yet another hunt to try to figure out where this was. And the only way that I found out where this was that I found some posts on the Facebook page for the Sunnyside Cafe, which is out in Randolph, where they said that they were being used as the Bev's Diner location. But with all the pictures that I saw from the inside of the Sunnyside Cafe, I don't find any that have the same look and feel as what they did to Bev's Diner. So I wonder if they went in and did a whole bunch of repainting and redecorating and everything else, or if the pictures that are online of the Sunnyside Cafe are old. I'll have to take a drive out there sometime and take a look and see what it's like. But I've looked at the pictures of the inside of the Sunnyside Cafe a number of times in my quest to figure out where Bev's Diner is, and it never looked like it was the same place. I wouldn't have guessed that at all. So I'm not misdoubting what they said on their Facebook page. but it just seems like a lot of work must be done, or that the pictures that are available for the inside of this building on the web are fairly old for this location to have been used as the Bev's Diner location. So we also got some scenes in this of the hair salon and of the outside of it, of what's facing the doorway. And we could see a George and an AI something, and some things that sound like delicious or maybe food. So I tried to take a closer look at that, see the George and then the AI something, delicious, prepared, and that's all you get pretty much from this particular episode. So then I went back through the previous episodes to see what I could cobble together from other scenes that were shot from the inside of the hair salon. And in this one, you get that same delicious prepared kind of thing, the other half of the prepared part of it, and you get Akins, and that was really the key. Once I saw that it was a George Akins, I could do some proper Googling, and what I found was sort of sad compared to some of these other things where it felt like they were cheating. George Akins is actually way out on the western side of Pennsylvania. It doesn't even exist anymore. You can't even do a street view of it anymore because the whole restaurant's been taken down and replaced by some other fast food kind of restaurant. If you do Googles, you can find what the restaurant front used to look at, and it looks exactly like what you saw out through the salon. But since it doesn't exist anymore, and I think that it hasn't existed for like 10 years or something like that, it seems as if they put up a fake background behind the front of the salon and were using it as a set background. That's the only thing that I could think of, unless there's some George Akins that still exists somewhere that the web doesn't know about anywhere. Like I said, even the pictures I could find of the Philadelphia one were old pictures and that were just on there for historical reasons. So that's a little sad that they had something from there and not even something in Massachusetts at all. Then the very last scene of this entire season isn't even with Kevin, it's with Neil wearing the fake Worcester Rhino shirt. So it just sort of sums everything up that we've got the fake Rhino shirt, a secondary character, and then everything is falling apart, and that's where they're going to end the season. And I suppose we have to come back for season 2 to find out what happens next. So there we've got the summary of episode 8. And again, there were no Worcester scenes. There were apparently fake t-shirts everywhere and even fake backgrounds everywhere. Unless I'm missing a whole bunch of things, which certainly could be, but it seems like they're just getting faker and faker. And while I appreciate the characters becoming more real near the end, there are still enough of those fake scenes in there that just don't do it for me at all. I just don't like them. So I guess I will watch forward since there's just one more season left and I can get through that and see what happens. Maybe they did include some Worcester scenes in that. We never know. So let me know if you have any comments or questions.